In this video, we are going to be looking at building out the navigation and the hero area for our website using Bootstrap 4. Welcome back to this series where we're building our website using Bootstrap 4. If you've missed the other videos in this series, I strongly recommend you start from the very beginning. In this video, we are going to be building out the navigation and the hero area. I'm also going to be looking at doing the typography. A couple videos ago, we did our variables and I completely forgot to do the typography. So I'm going to do that. Then we finally start getting into some regular CSS or SCSS. So I'll quickly set up just some basic type styles and then just jump right into it. So we're doing our navigation, the hero area, getting the background image looking good, and all of that fun jazz. So yeah, let's just jump right into it.
So I've already got my Typekit set up here. These are the two fonts that I'm using on the site. I'm using the book, the regular, and the bold throughout my design, as well as Banshee here is just, there's not any choices, just the regular. So if you've never used Typekit, you can use it for free, but you're a little bit limited in what you can use. I do know Banshee is available though. I'm going to jump up here and just click on the embed code, and it gives me a little bit of JavaScript. So I'm going to copy that. And this, they do say make sure it goes in the head. The idea here is just, you want your fonts loading as soon as possible. It can slow things down. It's not a super small file size or anything, but we're go and do that. So we'll start by coming up in here in my head. We'll put it right before my style sheet. So we'll put a comment in just to be consistent. So I'm going to come here and say, what am I going to call it? Fonts. And we'll paste that in there. So just very nice and simple. And we'll leave that right there. I'll save that. And now the other thing I want to do is set up my fonts as variables. So I'm going to come over to my SCSS here, and I'm actually going to, I have my vendor here where I have my custom, which is modifying how Bootstrap works. So we're also going to want to set up the rest of our SCSS properly and a bit how I normally set it up. Because right now, if we look at the main, all I'm doing is importing Bootstrap, which is fine, but I want to import my own. Now, I could have done this a little bit differently where the custom wasn't necessarily in here, but this custom is being imported by Bootstrap. But I could come and actually set up some variables in here since I have these, but I want to leave this vendor folder to just be the Bootstrap stuff. And I don't actually want anything else in here. I just want to have Bootstrap. So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up here. Let's go to my SCSS. So in here we have my vendor. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to come and make an abstracts folder. I'm also going to make a base folder, and we're going to make all of them right now. We have components, layout. I'd normally have a pages one, but we're only doing one page, so I don't need that. And we already have our vendor, which has our Bootstrap in there. So now over here I can make a new file. Let's save this file in abstracts, and it will be called variables.scss. Awesome. And now what I'm going to do before anything else is just make sure I'm importing this. Now I'm actually going to import, no, I'm not. We can import our variables right in the top. In general, the abstracts folder is things that don't, or not in general, the abstracts folder has nothing that actually outputs CSS. It's things like our mix-ins, our variables. If you have any functions, your functions would also go in there. So what I'm going to do is just do my at import, and this one is abstracts and variables. So I'll save that. So it should be working, and we can move this down. And I just want to create a couple of variables here for my fonts right now. So we'll just call this fonts. And I'm going to do a nice big, no, I'm just going to call it serif. No, it's not really a serif though. We'll do sans for my sans serif. And that one, let's go back over to Typekit here just to get the proper name of it. I know it's this one. They give us a little thing here. Font family is that. So comma sans serif. And I'm going to call it, it's not really a serif font, right? It's more of a decorative font. We'll call it header font. Header font. And that one, again, I don't remember the name at all. It's Banshee, I guess. So let's X out of there. Select Banshee and Banshee STD. See, I would have got that wrong. So it's a good thing I'm checking. And I'll do that, I guess, as cursive, even though that's not at all really what it is, but that I have to do. So my sans serif is, there we go. So I think that's, I want to get my font weights too, right? So I'm going to have light, which, geez, normally it's, if I'm using a Google font, this would be nice and easy. That's okay. I should have checked this before. Light book. Oh, book is 300. And see, they have book light and then thin, but I used book because book looks really light. So it ends up being normal and bold. So it's the normal ones that I'm used to using. So light is 300, normal is 400, and bold is 500. And you know what? I'm actually going to do something here. I'm going to do decorative. This sort of is more of a decorative font. And then my header font will just happen to be decorative. I like doing something like that a little bit more just because I don't like actually using header. And I know I don't have any examples of this, but let's say that lead guitar here was supposed to be using that Banshee style or the Banshee font. I don't want to call that, it's a paragraph text and it's a little paragraph text. I don't want to be calling it header font that I'm using. So I'm just going to call it decorative. So anytime I need to use it, but I can also have my header font. And this way also, if I ever need to change all my headers in one shot, but not screw everything up in my site, this could also be changed. It just gives me a little bit more openness. You don't need to do something like that. On a small project like this, it's probably overkill, but on larger projects, this could tend to be useful. And I'm going to save that. So I think that's all we need to do in our variables for now. So I think that's all we need right now. What I'm going to do now is jump right into components. So let's make a new file. I can close my variables. I like keeping my variables open because I usually forget what I want to do actually. And let's save inside of components. And we want a navigation.scss. Go back to my main. And this I definitely want to bring in. Whoops, I forgot my, that might have screwed some stuff up actually. Yeah. If you're compiling your SAS through the command line and doing some other, this won't happen. But prepros, if it's not being imported into the main, when you save a file, we'll actually export it even if it's using the underscore. I wish it wouldn't do this, but I'm going to have to delete that now. You've probably seen me do this before. Now that my main is saved properly, because I didn't forget my semicolon at the end, it knows it's importing the variables into main, that problem won't happen. And this is really just I don't know if CodeKit does that, but I do know that Prepros does. So there's my vendor. So I don't really need to say bring in Bootstrap, right? I can just do that. At import components slash navigation. Save. Okay, so in my navigation, what do I want to do? Let's just actually split down. Let's just go look really fast here. Hopefully my fonts actually ended up working in a second. Where's my Navbar brand? It's okay. So we're just going to go with Navbar brand. Font family is my, see, this is a good place where I can use decorative. And yeah, awesome. It's working. Cool. Good. So that's a nice little test too to make sure it was working. My color is brand primary or not. So this is one of those annoying things with Bootstrap that drives me a little bit batty. And with 4, they've improved it a million times because now I actually at least have like my nav links so I can change colors a bit easier. But this navbar brand isn't working because they actually want it nested inside of navbar inverse. And there we go. Now the color has updated. So that's kind of annoying. And next, let's go and change my font size here to, I don't know what I need, to be honest. And actually, I'm going to leave my font size here. Everything's working, so let's save that. My navigation is good. It's, you know, we're not done yet, but we have some stuff done. I need to make my base file here for just my general settings and some typography settings. So let's do that. So I'm going to make a new file, save in my CSS base, and we're going to call this one underscore typography.scss. I probably should have done this before, but c'est la vie. Go to main. Base will come in here. So at import base / typography. The way I generally work, it's going to be abstracts because you need these for everything. Then my vendor is going to come in, and then my base, and then my components, and then my layout, and then other stuff if I needed it. And the vendor is including like normalize and other stuff, but Bootstrap now includes all of that, so I don't have to bring all that in. So it just goes sort of in a logical order. So let's save that. In my typography, I'm going to do my body because I like having a lot of stuff on here, right? And most of it is type related, such as my font family is my sans. Did I call it sans? Variables. I thought I did. I did. So why does that not want to work? I'm getting a undefined variable. Why am I getting an undefined variable? But my navigation is working fine. That's there. If I go look at my variables, sans is right there. I spelt it the same. Let's go check here. No, I'm doing it the right order. My variables are coming in first. Let's go open up prepros here for a second. Where is prepros? Log. Undefined variable sans, but sans is... I forgot my semicolon again, guys. I've been writing a lot of regular Sass, the original Sass, the old school Sass, where I didn't need semicolons. So there we go. It worked. My font's just updated. Look at that. Okay, back to typography. Font family is sans. Font size. My font size was 21 or 24. 21 or 24. I think I use 24 a lot. So what's 24 is like 1.5 rems, I guess. Does that make sense? That looks a little bit too big. This is my lead. That looks better. I like that better. Okay. So the font size is fine, and my font weight is going to be light. That looks better. I'm going to probably have to modify this. This is lead. Yeah. Okay, we'll get there in a second. We want to deal with my navigation first. So we can go back into my navigation now, just because I wanted to make sure my fonts were working. In my navigation, let's go look at my design file here. So these are pure white. Are they pure white there? Actually, I like that with, I like this better. But I want them to be all caps. The font size is a little bit smaller. And obviously the spacing is quite a bit bigger, and this needs to be a lot bigger. Let's see what font size this actually is. Well, 51.72. Okay, let's just say it's 50. So, here we'll do font size. Font size of 50. What's that? 1632. So I got 3.5 rem. Now, one thing you might have noticed there is this got bigger. That's too big. Let's try 3. The old Navbar brand was one of the most frustrating things for me in Bootstrap 3 because it set the height of everything. It was a max. It set the height to 50, and then you had to overwrite the height, and it was really annoying. Because I'm using the Flexbox version, let's just make this 6 for fun and make it a really big logo. Look at that. It's lined up in the center automatically. Oh, isn't that beautiful, guys? So beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. So that's good. Now we can jump into my links. So those I have, let's just go look here. We have nav items. So my nav items I want to space out. So nav item, let's see if this works. Margin left of like 2M. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. My nav items can also be a text transform of uppercase. Sweet. And my font size is something like 0.8 rem. Oh, that's way too small. Not rems. Actually, it's close to 1 rem. It'd be about 16. 1.2. There we go. I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good. Sweet. Good. I'm really happy with that, actually. That looks... I'm pretty much done. There's the navigation done. So we can actually close you. That's nice when we can close something. I love when we can close something. Okay, so let's jump into this next section, which is going to be more interesting. So let's make a new file. So I'm going to save my new file. And this is where... Does it go under layout? Because this is actually pretty specific to the home page. This should technically speaking, this is a 4-page site. So I actually think that this should go in the pages one. This is theoretically a real layout, so I would have pages here. And this would be my home.scss. And each one of these would probably have some unique styles. So in my home.scss, I have my hero. And before I save anything, let's import it. Base components. I bring this in right here. Import pages. No, I'm doing pages. That's okay. I'll write it here. Pages / home. I was going to put it here, but I'm not going to put it here. Pages for me come after my components. Yeah, and normally I wouldn't be double spacing everything, but it's all just separate folders right now. If it's in the same folder, I keep my spacing normal. Yeah. Okay, so pages, home, don't forget the semicolon, save, and let's get this done. So hero has first a background image, URL, image / home hero bg.jpg. Awesome. We're going to give this some padding. Did I make that a fixed top? I did. I don't like doing it. I mean, I'm in typography, but padding top. Magic number time, guys. I'm just trying to get the height of my navbar. Height 80 plus 8, like 96. And the reason I'm getting that is because it's a fixed top. You'll just see 96 pixels. Ugh. I don't like magic numbers, but 96 pixels. Just to slide everything down properly. Now, if ever you need to use a magic number, the height of my nav bar. Leave a comment about why you're putting that magic number there, so if ever it does get changed, people know how to change it. Yeah. So just, yeah, magic numbers are bad. By magic number, I just mean it's a number that is an exact pixel amount only because it works perfectly with this exact layout, and there's not really, it works perfectly because it's the exact height of this. So if anything in here changes, this changes, and yeah, so just so you know, magic numbers, let people know why you're using that magic number and avoid them at all costs. If you know a better way of doing that, please let me know. But we'll get out of typography for now. Hero, background image, padding. Let's just do something. Would this look good if it was just like full screen? Let's go take a look. If that was just taking up like the whole thing. Should we try that? If I do a height of 100 viewport height. Minus 96 pixels. Oh geez, just yeah, it would be a background. We also want to do a background size of cover. Do we like that? Do we like that where it takes up the whole space? Nah, I'm just gonna go with some padding. Padding top of say like 25 viewport height. That's probably even too big, 20. And padding bottom, 20 viewport height. That looks okay. Make that one a little bigger maybe. That looks alright, right guys? Does that look alright? I think that looks pretty good. We are rock. I just closed typography. We're gonna do you know what we could do? Should I do this? Should I use a placeholder? And no, I'm not gonna use a placeholder. Okay, so I'm gonna say my H1, my H2. I think I don't remember how far down I went. Let's just do H1, H2, H3, whatever. We'll just set them all up. I didn't use them all, but it's a theoretical project where we would be. H5, H6, font, family, heading, font. What did I call it? Header font. Whoops. Cool. Did I give this a special class? Oh, I did display one. Ooh, I did that, eh? So I'm actually going to come into my custom file here because there's a few things. So this is the Bootstrap. Let's just organize this a little better, actually. This is the Bootstrap things that I'm customizing. And I want to just, as much as possible, if I can just modify Bootstrap's variables and things are going to work so I can write less CSS, I tend to find that to be a good idea. So let's, for a second here, jump into Bootstrap's variables file, like we did in the previous video. And I want to see fonts. Find. We can get out of there. So my font sizes are here. Font size, large, font weights, font size. I don't want to necessarily change these right now. I'm happy with that. Line height base is fine. I'm actually pretty happy with the line height. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Display one, I think, is the only one that I'm using. So we can copy you. Go to my custom file, and I'll just go down one step. 6, it needs to be bigger than that. I'm actually going to make this not in rem. Let's do something like 5 viewport width. Whoa, way too small. 10? Still too small. 12. 15? 15. It's going to be way too big now, right? That's not terrible. Gets a little too big at big screens though, eh? What about when we go small? Small, small, small. Actually, it works pretty decently. Let's go with 12 though. Or actually, let's do 15 V min. Yeah, that's better. The V-min's cool because it's taking the smaller of the two, so it locks in when you get to the giant screen sizes. But when you're on the small ones, it's looking at the smaller one, so to keep shrinking it, but once you get it, as long as you're portrait, landscape, I mean. But yeah, that works well. Super. So that is good. The only thing is I want to change the color of that. So just look, H1, did I use H1? That's all H2s after? Seems to be. Okay, so we're just going to say H1 font, not font, color is brand primary. We are rock. All right, and while we're in the variables here, display one was good. But what I want to change in here now is my small font should be fine. I'm looking for my lead. Did I miss it? Lead font size. Copy. And back over to custom, and we can put these two together. My lead font size should be, what was my font size? Typography, my regular font size is 1.4, so this should be like at least a 1.65. There we go. It's kind of hard to see with that bright thing in the back, eh? I don't want to put a drop shadow on that, though. Why does my button look like that? I did, div class. Whoops. That was silly of me. There we go. It's actually a button now. Good. Cool. So that's actually looking pretty nice. Let's go look at my original file. My button's a lot bigger, is one of the main things. My image is aligned quite a bit differently too, and I have a little bit more spacing. So let's just tackle those things really fast. Home. So I said background size. Let's do a background position of bottom center. Cool. So that should keep the text on top of this darker area instead of on top of that. Who knows? Yeah, it should more or less work out better that way. Okay, good. So that looks better now. The button is my next issue. So I'm going to go back to the Bootstrap here. I made a whole video on variables, and I clearly didn't set them all up. They probably have a whole buttons thing. So the padding will be fine. Where's the font size coming from? Font weight, font focus. Is there a font size in here, or is the font size in my fonts and I didn't see it before? That's for my colors. Padding again. Let's go look in their buttons thing here for a second, really fast. Are they doing it? Include font size base. I made a mistake. I should have updated my font size base instead of, what did I update? I did it on my body, didn't I? Font size? Where would it be? Typography. Did I put my font size here? 1.4 rem. Let's take my font size off of there and go back to their variable file for a second. Font size base is probably what I should have. Assumes browser default to 16. Yeah, I really should have just done it this way. That was kind of silly of me, actually. So this 1 point, was it 1.6 that I went with? It was, but look at that, my button gets gigantic. Nice. Good. That's what I was after there. Button really doesn't look like what I want it to. Can we just look at their buttons again here for a second? Inline, that's good, that's good. Yeah, because they're... Actually, I could just modify my padding Y and my padding X, right? Yeah. That would make more sense than just customizing everything completely. Font size base. So my button stuff can go right here. And I like doing Y. Why choose Y? I like doing like 2.5 M. That's giving me an error. Why is that giving me an error? Oh, because I left this alone. Let's do 1 rem. Whoops, wrong way around. 1 and 2.5. That's too big. 2? Oh, I'm doing rem there. That's gonna be even worse, eh? It's what I'm after, but it's just too big. Okay. So let's do like a 0.7 and a 2. Okay, that's more of what I'm after. Super. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. Why is that so small? Oh, because this. It's my vmin. That's, maybe vmin isn't going to work for my font size. We'll explore that in a second, though. Let's get our button working and my lead there working. I'm going to go to my typography and just say that the lead has a margin bottom of 1M. 1.5. See, I don't know if I want to do that, though. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we'll do that. Awesome. So that's good. There's that problem with my font size, though. Display one font size. The vmin, I love using it, but... Okay, let's just try it. Again, the reason that I'm looking at this is just if somebody's on... I mean, that doesn't look too bad, though. Like, is someone... It's kind of tiny, though, eh? Do 12 vertical width. We could always build a media query into this. But let's just see it, the big... Ah, there we go. That's so much nicer. So it's nice and huge, and it just shrinks down with my screen. And this now won't affect it. Cool, good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Perfection, guys. That's exactly what I was after. So I think we're pretty much done for this. I'm actually going to change this. This is a 6. Let's change this up to like an 8. It's a little bit too narrow. That looks a lot better. Okay, awesome.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, any comments, anything like that. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because this series is ongoing. I don't want you to miss any of those videos. Once this series is done, I will keep making a video every single Wednesday, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of those. And until next time, don't forget to try and make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.